Welcome home. In this podcast, we venture into what it means to be a leader in this new world. Human, flawed but working on things, and forever changed by using our intuition to guide us. I'm Adelina East, founder of Transformational Healing and mentor to those running soul-based businesses. Join me to receive transformational healing, tips to dive more deeply into your unique spiritual gifts, and to hear great conversations with other entrepreneurs in spirit. Let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Cosmic Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Adelina East. I am an EMDR therapist, an IFS therapist. I use parts work. I use EMDR. I also use my own modality, transformational healing, blending neuroscience and spirituality to lead people towards healing themselves. This is something I believe we are all capable of doing with the right guide. I think there are times to be guided, there are times to go it solo, and everything in between. If you are here, it means that you probably searched mental health, psychology, neuroscience, spirituality, something along those lines. I'm so happy for whatever brought you here. Thank you so much for being here. We have a really awesome community, and some of the people that I engage with from time to time on Instagram are people that have been listening to the podcast since we started 4 years ago. I just think that's so cool. Lucky us. So today we are going to talk about the new you. This request came to us from a few different people in my community, both here in New Mexico and also in our community online. So what I think a lot of people are finding as we move forward in this new year, as we have this administration here in America, I'm just going to call it that. People are finding that they're changing. And sometimes those changes are for the better. And go you. That is awesome. I have found that I'm also changing for the better. I think there's something about being struck with incredible adversity that forces us to become better. I would love it if the universe could stop dealing us all this adversity and so we could just become better without it. But hey, this is what is happening right now. This is where we're at. So let's talk about the new you. Let's start there. Maybe you have been going to therapy. You've been going to 12-step groups. Maybe you found a support group that is run by a few therapists in your area. Maybe you're doing some online courses. Maybe you've changed jobs. Maybe you've changed families, partners, whatever the case may be, whatever it is that has really improved your life and changed who you are as a person for the better. I'm so proud of you. I hope you're so proud of you because that is awesome. And it's not easy. And we need to take time to remind ourselves of how cool it is that we get to go through this world getting better. If we work at it, we can do it. And honestly, I have to be honest, I'm 45. So for those of you who are younger than 45, this is a secret tip, okay? Sometimes this us getting better thing just happens with age. Shh, I know. I'm not saying don't do therapy. I'm not saying don't do all the things. You have to still do all the things. But you will sometimes notice that your personality actually gets better as you get older. It's pretty cool. But I must also say, I am a person who's done all the things. I'm always in therapy. I love my therapist. I think she's amazing. I have two, actually, one that I work with on trauma, one that I work on OCD with. I also, go to 12-step meetings, and I do a lot of stuff outside of those 12-step meetings to keep my boundaries and to keep myself healthy. I eat really healthy. I exercise as much as my disability will allow me to. And I do whatever I can to weed the parasites out of my life, both physically and emotionally. And this is so important. And what I've noticed is that a lot of you are doing the same thing. Like our community has really encouraged each other and sponsored each other in doing all these things to try to get better and to be better and to feel better. And so let's talk about that. You have been through it. You have gone on a journey of self-improvement and you're doing it and you're feeling good about yourself. So why is it? Why does it seem like there are some people who are still trying to pull you back in to that person that you used to be? That person who maybe was not super confident, or maybe that person who didn't know what their gifts were or didn't know how to share them with the world, or that person who would take a lot of crap from people and not stand up for themselves. Believe me, been there. I totally get it. And I also notice that this is the way that the universe likes to test me the most. How much crap will I take from a person before I will stand up for myself? And I find that always, whenever something really amazing is about to happen for me, it is like a shower of crap, a shower of people trying to do stuff, whether it's like not pay me for something or cancel plans 5 minutes before we're supposed to have them after I've already driven all the way there, or, whatever the case may be. Contractors, oh my God, don't even get me started. So, if you are experiencing this, which I know some of you are, which is why you wrote into me on Instagram and asked if we could talk about how to be the new you. I hear you. I get it. I see you. I believe you. I know that it's happening. And what I want to say to you is this is kind of what the universe does. I know it sucks. I wish it wasn't the case. But often I've noticed when someone's really on a self improvement journey and they're really starting to feel better, shit kind of rains down on you a little bit. It sucks. I hear you. So, what can we do to reassert ourselves in the world? What can we do to reassert ourselves to the people who maybe want us to be that older version of ourselves? How can we change that narrative? How can we fix it, for lack of a better term? The first thing I would recommend is getting some support. So, this is where 12-step groups come in. This is where support groups, group therapy comes in. This is where a good therapist or a good coach comes in. It doesn't have to be me. I'm just saying, like, get some support. It really helps. It really changes the game. If it's not in the budget, there's about a million free ways. There's like free support groups online. 12-step groups are always free. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do. And 12-step groups don't have to be about addiction. Like there's Al-Anon, there's adult children of alcoholics, all kinds of different things. And all of these things are at your fingertips if you just Google it. So when people tell me like, oh, I can't get better, I don't have the resources, like, okay, you don't have the resources. Been there. I get it. Sometimes we don't have the resources, but we do always have a public library. Some people can walk to the public library. Some people can take the bus. Some people can find a way to get themselves to the public library where there is internet, and they can search when and where are the 12-step meetings? When and where are the different things that are going to help you and serve you? Sometimes it's even just like a new exercise routine that you find on YouTube that really makes your heart sing, and it's free, right? So think of it that way. Also, if you have resources, this gets exponentially easier too to have like one-on-one support, whether it's through a therapist or a coach. That's always really helpful. Secondly, let's talk about how to have these conversations with the folks that are trying to kind of pull you back into the old you. So I can't go into every single person's individual situation. What I'm going to do is give you an example and then you can apply it to your own situation, okay? So one example would be a person who may have identified as being codependent or a people pleaser. Totally me, totally lots of people that I work with. And you're weaning yourself out of those people pleasing methods, right? You're really working hard on it and you've made awesome strides. And you're starting to see some of the older friends who really want you to people please, who really want you to relax those boundaries big time. You're seeing them coming out of the woodwork like, but but you've always been available to me when I needed to talk for like 3 hours nonstop about something. Or, you've always been available to me when I want to make plans 5 minutes before the thing. If those things no longer feel okay to you, that's okay. That's growth. That means you're really doing a good job at taking care of yourself. Some people are awesome at last minute plans. I have to say, the last year of my life has been so psychotically busy that I've had to get okay at last minute plans or I won't ever see another human being. And I've had to really talk to my people about this and let them know, like, I super value you. I love you to death. I don't in any way think that your life is sitting around waiting for me to call you. If I call you to do a last minute thing and you can't do it, I will not in any way be offended. And please know I'm not trying to get you to people please me. Please know I'm not trying to get you to cancel everything and drop everything for me. This is just where my life is at this exact moment. Have those conversations with people. If you're the one who's requesting last minute plans, have that conversation with your loved ones. If there's a loved one who's requiring you to have last minute plans and it doesn't feel good to you anymore, and it feels like people pleasing to you and you don't want to do it, have that conversation with them. Listen, I really feel like you're not valuing my time when you ask me to hang out last minute. It feels as though you're not valuing me. I need advance notice. Give me like 4 or 5 days or a week, or, if you live in New York, a month. I used to be a New Yorker. I know what that is. I need to be counted. And I feel like I don't count when you ask me to do things last minute. So please, can you make advance plans with me and see what they say? Share with them that it feels people pleasy for you. If you feel as though other people are trying to take advantage of your time, your energy, your resources, your listening ear, it is up to you to continue that self-growth trajectory that you've been on. And what you are going to have to do, as uncomfortable as it is to have that conversation with the right person. Hey, I'm really trying hard to not people please. I've been working on this really hard this year. It feels to me like you're trying to take advantage of me. It feels as though you're telling me, for example, this project in my house is going to take 2 months. I've talked to some other people. They say it's 2 weeks. It feels really bad when I feel like you're trying to take advantage of me. Mostly what I've experienced when I've had this conversation with contractors or people doing my house is they are stunned. No one's ever been so honest with them before. They just say yes or no, and that's it. And they talk me through the project. They explain to me why it's going to take that long. Oftentimes, what I've found is that it may take that long because they're going to do a little bit at my house, go to somebody else's house for like a month, and then come back. And at that point, I have the option to say, no, that doesn't work for me. Sorry, bye. So even just having the conversation can be really eye-opening too. And if you're having the conversation with somebody who's taking advantage of your time or resources or listening ear, it also allows them to tell you why that's happening and for them to reflect. Like, sure, contractors don't really care about you, so they may not reflect. But let's say, for example, it's a friend who's always talking and just can't stop talking, and they talk for like 3 hours every time you see them. And it's like, okay, this friendship feels all about you. You'll get to hear from them why that is. And like, we all go through things, right? Sometimes we're the friend that's talking nonstop. So it'll give you a chance to hear what's going on for them and to really kind of suss out if you're being taken advantage of or not. I think one thing that happens to a lot of us people pleasers is that we're so accustomed to being taken advantage of that like almost everything feels like that now. Once you come out of the people pleasing mode, the boundaries get really strict and really strong for a while because you have to, right? But then once you're feeling better, you know people better, you know your friends better, and you can decide, do I need to keep this boundary so strict? Do I need to keep this boundary so strict, or can I let it go a little bit? So have those tough conversations and see what happens. Thirdly, let's also remember that as you move into the new you, as you start to feel better as the new you, remember that there will be some people who drop off. And that's life, and that's okay. If this person happens to be a really dear friend or someone you've known for a long time, have the uncomfortable conversation. I love you. I feel like our paths don't align anymore. It feels really weird. It's the first time in our lives. And we talk about it. These are the things about our dynamic that aren't working for me. Are they workable? Are they things that are resolvable? And I think if you've been doing the work and you've been focusing on being the new you, you kind of know that, right? You can almost like feel into the situation and see if it's something that's healable, if it's something that's workable for you, or if it's something that you just need to say goodbye to. And that's okay. I think it's really rare and really special for us to be able to have some friends throughout our whole life long. I'm really lucky. I have a few. I'm really lucky. But the reason that works also is that we're always talking. We're constantly talking about how we can still show up for each other if this feels good. Whenever there's like a conflict of some kind, we talk it out. And I think that's important and that's essential. So, what I also want to share with you is that there may be a part of grieving into this new you. As you change, as you become a better version of yourself, a more boundaried version of yourself, a happier version of yourself, there may be some people that you can't bring along, and that's okay. There will be others that will replace them, not replace them, but you know what I mean. There will be others that will spend time with you and make you feel alive and remind you of how much work you've done on yourself. And you will see in those friendships how they wouldn't have worked even just a couple of years ago before you started down this path of self improvement. So don't be afraid to let go. There will be more people, I promise. I love all of you so much. I feel so grateful that you show up to this podcast, that you show up to your lives, that you're all working so hard on feeling better and self improvement and being on this journey called life of healing and change and growth. Go you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud for you. And I hope that you continue on your growth of being the best new you that you know how to be, because that's what we're here to do after all. So much love to you.
Thank you so much for listening to these important conversations about cosmic leadership and the changing needs of our times. If you enjoyed this conversation, please rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also share it with a friend. Join our crew at Adelina East on Instagram or at Adelina East Healing on Facebook. With all the love from every dimension, Adelina.